are hopefully going to get some people. So welcome everybody on the replay. I think they are going to see us in a second. Let's have a look. It says setting up your webinar for Facebook Live. Did you know that tip, by the way?
No, I did not.
We're live.
I did know in a general sense. Oh wait, copy streaming link. I think I should do that and post it. Never mind. Forget it.
Yes.
I did know in a general sense that Facebook wants you to live pretty much in Facebook, right?
Yeah, they do.
And at one day, we're just going to wake up and it's going to be the fucking Matrix, right? we're not even going to know, but Facebook will have replaced our 3D reality.
Oh, gosh. I mean, for some of us, it's already done that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, here's a cool thing that's happening right now. Right now, Manny, we are not only live in your group. We're also live on my personal profile and says Katya is live in the 1000 Speakers Academy group.
Oh, that's so cool.
So that probably means that people who follow me also can see that.
We'll get hip to what's going on.
But here's the cool part. I am live, not you. I am live. And everybody on the replay is thinking, whoops, what the hell is going on here? So do you want to do another quick intro for all the people watching in the group?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am so glad that you're here today. Seriously glad. And yes, I'm happy to do a second intro because I don't know about you, but when I get sucked into the rabbit hole, the nebulous, never-ending sort of a space-time wormhole of Facebook, one of the things I constantly see is some people getting great reach, doing great video, et cetera, et cetera. And then I kind of wonder why mine are sort of meh, you know. And so my friend Katya Varbanova, that's the face you're probably seeing on the screen, this girl raising the roof. Yeah. Roof raising Katya, we call her, has agreed to come on here and share with us some of the things that she has learned. One of the things that I think is so cool. Now, you and I have been connected. We haven't really chatted when we first got connected, but when we first got connected, you had not yet built what you now have. And I just think that that's so cool.
Is that true?
It's been about 4 years.
Wait, what? We've been connected 4 years?
Yeah, for about 4 years, yeah.
4 years ago, I didn't even know I wanted to have a business.
You were just someone on Facebook. And the only way I knew that we were connected 4 years ago approximately was I went and I stalked your profile in knowing that this was coming up. And so I started looking at old pictures and stuff, and I'm like, oh, so what's she up to? Blah, blah, blah. And then I realized, oh, okay. So I recognize some of these pictures from way, way back when we first became friends. That's the only way. Yeah, that's the only way I even figured it out. And so in a way, I've literally watched you go from, as you just said, not even knowing you wanted an online business to really becoming like a dominant force in the space. One of the things I like to it is so cool, right? One of the things I like to really kind of push and support for people is with all of this BS that's out there and all of the hype and the fakery and the puffing up and the peacocking, it is possible. Right? What?
I was trying to pretend I was a peacock.
Oh, that was you being a peacock? Okay.
Yeah, is that what it? No,
no,
that was a bad attempt.
Not your finest.
That was a bad attempt.
Yeah, that's okay.
See, I'm not a peacock.
That was your finest moment, proving you're not a peacock. But anyway, so you're a legitimate success story. I had Arnie on do a guest training a couple weeks back. Same thing, right? He interviewed me for his podcast before he ever had any clout, status, success. Didn't even have his Facebook group yet, I don't think. I think in one of his first 3 or 4 failed attempts. Mm-hmm. And so I just think it's really nice for people to, be able to go, okay, here's someone who actually did this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge believer that you can change your life in a... And you're not going to be a millionaire overnight, and you're not going to be ultra successful within 6 months. But I am a huge believer that you can change your life with one decision, and that you can see a significant shift and a significant progress that was only possible because of that one decision.
Yes. Yes.
And people underestimate that, I think. And um, you know, my decision that led to where I am today is I started my business with a live stream focused community,
Hmm.
which was free. That
Yeah.
community was free, and I loved spending my time after work in it, and I
Mhm.
loved connecting with the people in it. But it came to a point where it was so overwhelming and it was so exhausting that I had to make a decision
Yeah.
whether this will be something I shut down or whether this is something I will actually monetize. That was the decision.
Yeah.
Do I shut this off and focus on my banking career, or do I monetize this? And
Right.
and when I made that decision, that community was not making any money whatsoever. And I guess at first I was very scared to do that,
Hmm.
to actually want to monetize, because I thought at the time that asking for money was greedy. I mean, I grew up in a place where asking for money, people did think you were greedy. So
Sure. Sure.
I don't blame myself for that. But I spoke to a couple of the people in the group who were the closest to me, and I asked them, what do you think I should do? And every single one of them had said, you deserve to get paid for this.
Excellent.
And that's when I made a decision. So I truly believe that if I didn't make that one decision, then we wouldn't even be sitting here. And people often run around circles, and they run around circles in
Yeah.
their business and in their video marketing, in their email marketing, with their funnels, with
Hmm.
whatever they are running in circles. And all they're doing is they're not deciding on what they want to actually do. They just think, oh, I'll try this, I'll try this. They don't decide, however.
Yes. Yes. You may not know this, but I train public speakers. Surprise. And the thing that I hear more than anything else is I've got so many things I want to talk about. And the
I just
thing,
went to stalk ourselves.
and the thing that I have to tell people more than anything else is you can't start off with 5, 10, 15 topics. Because why? Because you'll just be running around in circles. You cannot give your energy effectively to all those things. Now, if you start off with one thing, you can then, of course, branch out into anything. And that's one of the unique beauties of the online space too, is once you gain people's trust and you deliver, and you get enough people who know that you will, have integrity and deliver what you promise, you can go in any direction you want. And I've seen that with a lot of people.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
let's assess my timeline. Started
Mm-hmm.
with Periscope. That
Yep.
was the really niche specialty.
Yeah.
Started with Periscope, expanded into Facebook Live and Periscope,
Mm-hmm.
expanded into just general live stream marketing. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So it was, at first it was just live streaming, then it became live stream marketing,
Mm-hmm.
then it became video marketing, and then it became video advertising, video marketing, and viral videos.
Perfect. So
So
let's,
that's a really nice progression as an example for everyone out there.
yeah, no, it's perfect. I often say that we can't hear the actual story from people who have done it enough because there's so much noise out there that's just meant to distract and confuse and beguile. Right. So every time I can present someone who can with authority say, look, this is actually how it went. It's very valuable for people, myself included. I would love to sit here and tell you that I've eliminated the shiny object syndrome / imposter syndrome kind of like dual pull thing that happens where, and I'm just like a straight line on my targets, but I'm not.
What's
And
your
most of
Myers
the time,
Briggs?
I don't know. I
I
did
don't know.
I did a funny post the other day where I was being totally sarcastic, and I'm like, I'm an IFNG disc profile this with a this and a that and a this and a that, and it's like a paragraph long,
You
and
know what?
every
That would actually be someone like me. I know pretty much every single profile that I have. Yeah, I'm
well,
I'm just obsessed with learning about myself.
well, here's what's funny about it. Everybody took it seriously. Nobody got
But
that I was being sarcastic.
yeah, I guess that they actually thought you were real.
Yeah, they wanted to
Um,
jump in and talk about profiles. Yeah.
if you guys are watching on the replay and you know what your Myers Briggs is, comment below. I am an ENFP, which is the campaigner. The big visionary, super creative, super nice and kind, but sadly very easily distracted and very, very, very terrible at attention to details and logic.
Oh, then I'm an ENFP too. I'm what you are in that case.
It's very possible because ENFPs tend to have very similar careers like
Mm,
you and me,
yeah.
into teaching and into
Mm,
speaking and
yeah.
into performance. Like we
Mhm.
are the natural performance on stage. And I dare you to do that test again. I really do.
Yeah, maybe I will.
16personalities.com.
So listen, I want to get some, selfishly, frankly, I want to get some feedback and insights of yours out of your head and into the world. So let's start here, if we could. If you had to say what the 1, 2, or 3 most common and detrimental mistakes are when people make videos in support of their persona, for their business, whatever,
Mhm.
what would you say those things are?
The biggest one really is not understanding that your mindset towards how you show up on video is everything.
Mm,
It has to do with it has to do as simple as it sounds, but it has to do with attraction.
mm-hmm,
It's Imagine you walk on the streets and you see a really attractive person from the opposite sex or from the same sex, it doesn't really matter. But what is it that draws them to them? What is it? It's the energy, it's
mm-hmm.
the smile, it's the way they show up, it's the way they present themselves with their clothes, with their hair. You notice something about them as attractive, not because you were attracted to them, but because they exude a certain energy that happens to be attractive in your eyes. So, the biggest mistakes I think people don't realize is that marketing is exactly the same, that you have to have the energy and the mindset and the qualities first of all yourself in order to be an attractive. And that, by the way, that has nothing to do with looks, and
Right,
it has
right.
everything to do with presence.
Presence,
Everything to do with
personifying what it
presence.
is you represent.
Yes,
Yeah.
looks help, I'm not going to lie, looks
Mhm.
absolutely help, but it's not everything, and it's not what is really attractive. I mean, how many of us have seen really amazing looking people that just have an energy that puts us off?
Right.
It happens all the time. It's the energy. So the biggest mistakes they make is they don't actually realize that their energy is causing their issues, and their energy is what is repelling people. So if you're finding yourself, let's say, if you found yourself 3 months really consistent doing videos,
Mhm.
if you found yourself showing up on a lot of interviews, if you're finding yourself speaking on a lot of stages and you're getting no traction from all these engagements and videos and marketing you're doing, something's wrong with your energy. And by wrong, I don't necessarily mean something's wrong with you, but something is off in your energy in comparison to the energy that your ideal client wants and needs.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with you and what's wrong with you. It just has everything to do with compatibility. It's exactly the same as relationships in real life. Sometimes you can see someone from afar and go, oh my God, this person is totally amazing. I completely respect and admire them. I could never see myself in a romantic relationship with them. I could never see myself in a friendship with them, but I
Right.
respect who they are. And that's the thing, that's the difference. In business, you have to be the provider, the service provider that people want to be in a relationship, that people literally can see potential to get in a relationship with you.
Yes.
That's
So
how simple it is. So that's number one.
that's pretty epic. Let's try to, if we can, do the listeners and viewers a little bit of a favor, and there's a happens every time.
Agreed. The dog agrees.
Yes, yes,
Dog agrees.
they agree vocally. So my question then is this: how do we go about? Ah, geez. Those dogs have made cameos on more of my recordings.
It happens.
How do we go
That's
about
okay.
How do we go about recognizing what energy we're embodying and changing it so that it lines up more with what we wish to represent?
Yeah. Well, the first thing really is seeing your results. If you've been doing it, if you've only been doing it for a month or for a week, I really don't expect you to see any progress. But if
Mhm.
you've been doing it for 3 months, 6 months, 12
Mhm.
months, you should see at least progress.
Yeah.
It took me exactly 3 months to go from an idea to quitting my job.
Mhm.
Okay. Uh, and I don't expect most people to get results that fast. So I'm confident that 3 months is enough to see at least a little progress.
Yes,
Like if
absolutely.
someone can completely change their life in 3 months with video, it's possible for you to have at least a little progress.
Yeah.
And that progress is either increase in following, that progress is actual clients, that progress is another one very not mentioned much is feedback. People actually messaging you and saying you thank you for that video. It was actually really useful to me.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting any of these things and you've been consistent streaming and doing videos and nothing's happening, don't expect don't expect to change anything unless you change something. Nothing's going to make a
Right.
difference. So that's the first thing, recognize it.
Mhm.
And then the second thing, which is a little hard, but the second thing is you want to get real feedback.
Mhm.
You genuinely want to get real feedback. And that feedback, ideally you want it to come from different sources. In when I used to work in banking, we used to do all these 360 appraisals
Right.
for every
Yes.
single person in the team.
Mhm.
So the idea is that you get feedback from somebody who's a peer of yours.
Mhm.
You get feedback from somebody who is a potential client of yours. You get feedback from somebody who is ahead of you but
Yeah.
is really invested in your journey. And you get feedback from a mentor or a coach, somebody you actually pay to do this for you,
Yeah.
right? And when you get that 360 feedback, you can start looking at what you're doing wrong. So I want to tell you a couple of examples of things people do wrong. And
Sure.
you, as you're listening to this, you may recognize yourself in this. One example is awkward pauses and awkward silences. People sometimes try to talk so many things, they
Mhm.
forget to just pause
Yes.
and take a step back. And that is often caused by nerves, which are really natural. I've been there as well. And the best way you can tackle this, and I'm sure you teach them a lot of this when they're on stage as well, it's instead of trying to say everything you want to say, take a pause and think, then say it.
Mhm.
And take a pause,
And
and
then
it's
say,
okay if you speak slower than usual. But that way, at least you're avoiding the ums and the hums and the awkward silences. And the more pauses you do, the more you can think about this. Did you guys feel the difference? I think you did. So that's one example. Another example could be that maybe you need to improve on your emotional intelligence, and maybe you aren't necessarily aware of what's happening in the room. So let's say you are doing a video or a live stream. Maybe you're not aware how people feel when they watch your video. So
right.
for example, did you know that one of the biggest pet peeves of people is jumping on a live stream and the first thing they hear is, I'm just going to wait for a few more people to join and then I'm going to start the broadcast.
Yeah.
You know what the viewers are thinking? Oh, you're saying I'm not that important, so you're
Right.
just like going to wait for like someone else to join and then you're going to give me the goods. I'm out.
Yeah.
It happens very often. Another pet peeve is not recognizing people if they're in the room. Same on stage. How annoying is to have a speaker on stage that never does any eye contact with anyone. It
Oh, it's
almost feels like
destructive.
they're not. It almost feels like they are not in the room, that they are thinking of another place. So that is an emotional
Yeah.
intelligence piece, being emotionally intelligent to recognize that if you're speaking to people, they want to feel that you're speaking to them and you're not just speaking at them,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
It's more than
And there's
just it's more than just a little problem on stage in particular. It's absolutely
Yes.
destructive. It ruins your
Yes.
credibility. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And it's the same on video. Now, I have to admit, one of my biggest weaknesses is because I'm so creative, because I'm an NFP, my brain wanders around, and the way I form thoughts is by moving my head all over the place. So sometimes I need to remind myself to just look at the camera.
Yeah.
Just look at the camera and smile,
Yeah.
because otherwise I can just be all over the place and talking to you, and that's not necessarily going to make for a bad interview, but this is way more intense and way
Yeah.
more attractive, way more pulling in,
Mm-hmm.
because they feel like I'm speaking to them.
Right.
So that is definitely one of my favorite points.
So with video, then, let's see if I can summarize all this. We have to remember, not just in an abstract way, see what I'm doing here as I formulate my thoughts, but we have to remember, not just in an abstract way, but in a practical way that we apply the whole time, that I'm talking to people as I look here into the camera. There are people there. It's when I first started jumping on camera, it was the same thing for me. It's
Yeah.
a very alien feeling to try to pretend that's
Yes.
a person. For me, it just took one kind of like I committed. It was one suspension
Yes.
of disbelief, right?
100%.
Yeah. And I just said, from now on, the camera is a person, it's a friend,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yes, it's like, which is why I really love giving my clients, when they hire, let's say, when they go and do shoots for the day, they hire videographers. I always say to them, take these questions and get your videographer to ask you these questions, and then answer it as if you're answering to them,
Yeah.
but do it on the camera.
Yeah.
And they always create the most natural videos that I ever have, and they're always
Mhm.
so surprised how easy it was for them without a script to actually answer the question,
Yeah.
because then it becomes a conversation, not a task.
Yeah. And that's such a huge mental shift.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Um, let's go to mistake number two. Mistake number two people make is they do videos, marketing, live streaming, video ads with literally no strategy whatsoever. They
Mhm.
just, oh, try, I'll make a video about this and I'll make a video about that. And, oh, but I don't really know why I'm making these videos. I don't really know why I'm using this headline. I mean, I'm just testing. They're constantly on the testing cycle, but then they're never evaluating and making decision on what the strategy actually is. So my biggest pet peeve is when people come to me, they've been doing videos for years, and they say to me, well, I really want to work with you, but I really don't think video marketing is the right I don't think it's the right format for me, because I've been doing it for so long
Right.
and I've seen no results. And then I dig deeper. Okay, tell me, do you have a content calendar? Okay, does this content calendar actually match the product launches that you have and the releases of products that you have? Does it actually correlate? Or are you talking about, let's imagine you're a relationship coach. If you're launching a product for married women,
Mhm.
but then you're doing a video in that same week for single women,
Yeah.
do you do that? Or is your content actually aligned with your overall business? And that's a big pet peeve of mine, when they, instead of, when something goes wrong in their business, they blame it on the tactic. Yeah, email marketing's dead. Facebook ads, they're getting so expensive. It's the videos. It's not the videos, because I think the studies out there have proven that 80% of the internet traffic comes from video.
Right.
You cannot, it is 2018, and it is not a matter of whether you should be on video. It's a matter of how much you should be on video, and
Yeah.
what quality of video streaming and actual production you should be investing in. That is the question. It's not whether you should. And the strategy is the real weapon that you have. Having a strategy behind, and by strategy I mean a really aligned goal, and starting from backwards. What is the goal? I always start from the goal. This is what you want to achieve.
Mhm.
Now let's reverse engineer that and work backwards.
Sure. So that's solid common sense. If I could, um, tell me a little bit about the content calendar, because you
Mhm.
hinted at going a little deeper than I think. If people are making a calendar at all, right? Like I'll use myself here because I can learn from this. My content calendar, basically its only objective is to help me from sitting down in front of the computer and blanking out when it's time to be
Mhm.
creative. Right? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I've got styles of posts on one side. I guess I'm giving up the goods here. And then I've got topics across the top. And that's really how I do it. I would
Yeah.
love to hear how to focus that more into an objective and outcome based
Yeah.
kind of strategy.
Of course. Well, the first thing that we actually do is the biggest issue we all have is we always have ideas, but we don't necessarily jot them down when the ideas come. And
Right.
usually, when the ideas come, that's when they're the freshest and that's when we are actually ready to work on them. So, one of the things that I have a system with my team where I have an Evernote folder that is called content ideas.
Yeah.
And I would use Evernote to start let's say the idea comes to my head. I would jot it down on Evernote, and that
Mhm.
will automatically create a task in Asana for my team to pick it up and follow up on making sure that that content piece actually gets deadlineized. Is that a word?
Sure. Yeah, it should
Deadlineized.
be. It should
It
be.
should be,
Yeah.
and to make sure that it actually gets done. Right. So
Nice.
that's the first thing. Make sure you record your thoughts, because you cannot underestimate the power of your inspirational brain. Honestly, you
Right. Yeah.
cannot. And then the second part is having an actual structure in your business. Like the easiest thing in the world is to know, okay, for example, I knew that this June, very simple. The first half of the month, I was promoting the 90-day year, which
Yep.
I'm an affiliate of that program.
Mhm.
And then the second half of the year, I'm promoting my viral video funnel program, which is
Yeah.
for the 20K a month entrepreneurs and above. And it's very simple for my team to, as soon as they know that, every single time I come up with an idea, they look at that idea and they go, oh, this is an idea for VVF. We're going to assign it to Katya to complete before the end of June,
Oh, that's
right?
nice. Yeah, that's fantastic.
So I don't, because let me tell you this, if you're an ENFP like me and everybody else here, we're terrible at follow through. We're
Yeah.
so amazing at generating the idea. We're
Mhm.
terrible at follow through. So I've created a system. Well, my team, not I have not created a system. My team has created a system which allows for us to have that feedback loop and have that accountability and follow up on every single idea that we do. And some ideas we don't follow up with
Sure.
because we just change our minds. But at least that way we know what's happening. So June is that. July, we're going to be promoting our membership. August, we're going to take some time off and we're going to be taking care of our clients, and we're just going to promote some passive income stuff. And then September, we're going to come back full in on the viral video funnel again. So them knowing that, they already know, right, the content for September has to be this, and this. And most people, the reason they don't have a content calendar is because they don't actually have a calendar for their business and what they're going to promote and when.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I think that along with the amount of sheer noise and distraction in the online world, that is the reason I like presenting people who I have seen, make the journey. I think that along with that kind of distraction, there are several layers of prevalent illusion. And one of them is, somehow, if I just keep showing up, with no structure, no plan, no system whatsoever,
Yeah.
right? That somehow the floodgates will open and I'll be sitting next to Ty Lopez on a Lamborghini, and and on it goes. Quickly, before you respond, I want to be respectful of your time. We've got about 4 minutes left until you said you had to.
I'll have some time, so don't worry about it. I'll have some time. We've got another 10 minutes or something. So,
Okay, so we'll take 10 more minutes.
yes.
All right. Um, so what I think I want to summarize what you've said so far with this topic to create a content calendar and have it be strategic. The thing that you said about you jot the ideas down when they come, that's something I've been doing recently and lately, and it's been helping. I have noted, for those of you guys listening, by the way, I have noticed just since jotting my content ideas down as often as I can when they come, and then instead of sitting down and going, okay, inspiration, hit me.
Yes.
You know? like
Yeah,
Jim,
there's no such thing.
right, like Jim Carrey in The Mask, hit me.
There is no such thing as just like,
right,
you know.
now I have a cache that I can go refer to, right? And I've actually got two of them, one on the computer, one on the phone. But the point is that it's allowed me to probably up my consistency by 75%, I would guess. I've also started doing this branding awareness piece where I take some of the headshots from my photo shoots, and with a simple program, I just put little quotes on them. You know, all it does is create awareness. But here's the thing. I'm having conversations every day now. Right? So even that, you guys, and I'll be stepping that up, as you'll see in the future, the days and weeks to come. But even that is creating conversations where I had none before. Ahmed says, What advice do you have to promote stuff on live stream? What's special about promoting on live instead of just posting videos? Well, that's a good way. That's a good question to probably fill out our last 7 minutes.
So the difference really is only one. On live, you can engage with people and add that little scarcity of, okay, this is open for as long as this live stream lasts. For as long as we're live, this offer is available. As soon as this live stream becomes a replay, it's no longer available. Like, right. You can literally do that. And then the other thing is you get the benefit of people actually being engaged with you and feeling that they are being heard and they feel like they're in the same room with you. It's the same difference between being at a networking event and sending a video to a networking event to be played, but you're not there. It's like what's better, being at the networking event and having people be able to ask you the questions, or, oh yeah, just plunk my video on the screen, you know? So yeah, just put my ad up there. And that's how I'll get the sales. So that's the difference. Now, the cool thing about the produced videos, however, is the produced videos can be higher quality. That's where the real adverts come in. That's where the viral videos that we do for our clients come in, because they're shorter but more impactful. So while live stream is really good for promoting something in the moment and being in the moment, the produced videos are way better for long-term assets. Like, when I create a video ad, I expect that ad to pay me back for a long, long time. I have one ad actually. I've used the exact same script. I've reshot it once again, but I've used the exact same ad for the 90-day year launches in the last 18 months. It's the exact same script, and it has generated over 300K in sales, just that one ad.
Beautiful.
Of which half of it is commission just for us. One ad. Manny, one ad. So that's the difference between the live. The lives are not going to be assets like that. They're not gonna pay off for the long run,
right?
But they can bring you sales in the now. And then the ads, the produced videos, they can be assets for the long run. And they don't even have to be like ads to close a sale. They can be brand awareness ads. Like, I do all these viral videos that people sometimes wonder, what's the point of these comedy videos? And I always say to them, first impression, people. That is the point. If your first impression is strong, they're more likely to actually look me up. If the first impression is like, so what? I have some views but nobody cares about me. What's the point?
Think about if you guys watching know him, Kerwin Ray. He's a high level coach in the mindset space. Very, very successful. Kind of a Tony Robbins type guy. But I think I'm going to remove comparing anyone to Tony Robbins out of my lexicon. It's becoming so cliche. But the point is this: he constantly does really well produced, really high value awareness videos. Does them all the time. And the beauty of it is that if you're on the radar of these awareness videos, when he does come with an offer, you're like, oh yeah, I know this guy. Right. So
Absolutely.
it's a hugely valuable thing. And again, I would attest to just using my headshot branded little quote posts. It's generating conversations.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
people are associating those conversations with your name.
Yep, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And also, here's another thing: when people see the viral videos and the video ads that we create, the highly produced ones, they also attach that to professionality, because they see this business investing money into their video production.
Yeah.
Therefore, they assume that that company must be doing really well to be able to afford that. Therefore, that company must have a lot of clients. Therefore, that company
Sure.
must be in great demand. Therefore, this company must be amazing. You see
Yeah.
how good quality video equals this company is amazing, I must hire them.
Yeah. And so really quickly, Ahmed says, you know what? I can't see the whole question. Let me see if okay. What strategies do you have to grow our viewer base? Do you recommend us to grow our Facebook page audience or Facebook group? Thank you for the first answer. So I'll give you a couple minutes to get into that, but I just wanted to say, I think we're past the days of a professional showing up with the home shot videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's no longer, oh, it doesn't matter, just be on video. I just don't think that applies anymore.
It used to be like that when I
Right.
started.
Right.
2015 used to be like that, but not anymore.
Exactly.
Not anymore, which is why I say to people, people sometimes go like, oh, I'll just start a business like you. And I'm like, sure, go ahead and try. But I must warn you, I had a lot more advantages in 2015 because I was an early adopter in those things that now everybody's doing. So don't expect to quit your job in 3 months,
Right. Yeah.
Expect to do that only if you do something no one's ever done the way you're doing it.
Yeah. So what do you have as far as suggestions for Ahmed about growing the viewer base?
Well, the viewer base, it's kind of linked to what I said earlier about the energy and about the results. Because if you see the followers' growth, then that's how you know you're doing well.
Yeah.
Right. And if the viewer base isn't happening there, you need to check out whether what you're actually sharing and your energy and the stuff that you're putting out there is actually something people care about.
Yeah.
That's the thing. People invest money and time into things they care about.
Yep.
I'm going to use another dating analogy. I'm a dude and I like 3 chicks, but I only like one of them the most. I'm going to text her first. And I'm going to wait for her response.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to text the other 2 until I hear from that first one response. And the other 2 are wondering, why is he not texting? Am I not good enough? And it's like, no, he's just, he just doesn't care about you at this point.
He's just not that into you.
He's just not that into you. So if he cares, he will text. So this is the message. If people care about what you're saying, they will respond to what you're saying and they will share what you're saying and they will bring you more viewers. And if they're not doing that, and if your viewership isn't growing, they don't care. So the answer to how to grow your viewership is share something people care about.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Katya, thank you so much. Ahmed, if only you had access to someone who could teach you how to be devastatingly charismatic on camera. But you don't, unfortunately. So I guess you'll just have to do your best, my friend. Katya, thank you so much. It has been such a pleasure to connect with you finally, sort of quote in person. And yeah, you did not disappoint. So just putting that out there publicly. You brought the you brought the fire. I really appreciate.
We got the heat. We got the heat. We got the heat. You're doing it in your super manly voice, and I'm just like heat.
Yeah,
heat.
exactly.
I'm like the girly voice. So yes, I am so happy that you invited me, and I'm so excited. If you guys have any questions on the replay in the group, just tag me down below, ask away, and I'm happy to answer. And happy to support any of you through your video marketing journey over the rest of the year, over the rest of your life.
Rockin'. Thank you so much. With that, we will sign off. I thank everyone who joined us, and those of you who are watching after the fact, count yourselves lucky. Bye-bye, Katya.
Yay. Bye. Well, I'm going to stop this.